Hiring your first executive, especially a CEO, is one of the most high-stakes, nerve-wracking decisions any startup founder has to make. It's usually this chaotic process full of guesswork. Well, today, we're going to see how the executive hiring assistant, a brand new premium agent from the GCN AgentPower platform, turns all that chaos into a masterclass of strategic precision. Okay, let's jump right in.
So picture this. You're a founder, you've got the vision, you've got the product. You know you need a CEO to help you raise money and really scale this thing. But the path from here to there, it's a total fog. This is the exact problem our founder brought to the AI agent. It's a huge critical challenge. So where do you even start?
The old way of doing this, it's a mess. It's chaos, it's driven by gut feelings, it takes forever, and if you bring in headhunters, well, it gets really expensive fast. But what if there was another way? A new way that's structured, totally data-driven, super efficient, and just deeply strategic. That's the promise of bringing an AI partner into the mix.
All right, let's set the scene. We've got a founder with a really ambitious goal, but honestly, no clear path to get there. They need a strategy, a concrete plan, and that is exactly where they kicked off their conversation with the agent. The founder's first prompt to the agent is super simple and straight to the point. I'm focused on fundraising and scaling. That's the mission. It's a big, high-level challenge that the new CEO absolutely has to solve. It's broad, sure, but it's the perfect starting point for the agent to get to work. And here's our guide for this whole journey, the executive hiring assistant. You should think of it less like a tool and more like a strategic co-pilot, really designed to help you navigate all the complexities of a C-level search. And boom, the agent immediately lays out this incredibly clear 5-phase process. Right off the bat, it's bringing structure to the chaos. So we're going to follow this exact roadmap, define the role, figure out where to find the candidates, analyze them, create a fair way to evaluate them, and then finally craft a winning offer. Okay, let's dig into these first 2 phases. Now, watch how the agent takes that big, kind of vague goal of fundraising and scaling and starts to mold it into a concrete, actionable plan. Okay, this is so cool. Look how the agent distilled that conversation. It took the founder's goal and defined not just some fuzzy leadership qualities, but hard, measurable KPIs. The new CEO has to raise at least $500,000. They have to get to 10,000 users in 1 year. All of a sudden, that vague goal has some serious teeth. And then, the classic startup reality check. The founder just drops this bomb. We don't have investors yet, and we have exactly 0 budget for a search firm. Now, this is a huge constraint that would stop most people dead in their tracks. But for the agent, it's just another variable to solve for. So what does it do? In response, the agent builds this absolutely brilliant zero-budget sourcing plan. We're not talking about generic job posts. We're talking about a strategy built around super-targeted searches, personalized outreach, and a plan to actually map out and use the founder's own network. It turns a huge limitation into a strategic, scrappy advantage. All right, with a solid plan in place, the founder finds a potential candidate. Now we're moving into phase 3, and this is where the agent's analytical power really gets to shine. This isn't about a gut check, it's about a deep, structured analysis. So, meet the candidate, Alejandro Rutladian. This quote from his resume immediately grabs your attention, right? It's all about growth, AI, strategy, all the keywords that line up perfectly with what the founder wants. But, a good resume summary is just the beginning. And this, right here, is where you see the agent's real value. It doesn't just say, hey, he looks good. It creates this balanced scorecard. On one side, you've got founder experience, deep AI knowledge, awesome. But on the other side, the agent flags these critical questions. Where's the direct fundraising experience? What does he mean by aggressive sales? And what's the story with that short 3-month tenure at his last job? These aren't judgments, they're the interview roadmap. And the really crucial point here is that this analysis isn't just for a chat. It feeds directly into a formal evaluation scorecard. The agent actually assigns different weights to each skill, like fundraising and scaling, to make sure the final decision is as objective and data-driven as humanly possible. No guesswork allowed. Okay, after a successful evaluation, we are at the final and maybe the most delicate phase, crafting an offer. An offer that a top-tier candidate will actually say yes to, especially when the company has, well, very limited cash. So the founder tells the agent the salary budget is firm, just $30,000 a year. For a CEO role, That is a massive hurdle. How do you possibly attract top talent with a number like that?
You pivot. The agent's strategic recommendation is to counter that low cash with the one thing that really matters at the stage: high ownership. A really significant 15% equity stake.
And this is the core strategy right here. For a pre-seed startup, you just can't compete on cash. So you have to compete on the vision, on the upside. You trade that salary for a massive piece of the potential success, which perfectly aligns the new CEO's incentives with the company's long-term growth. So here's the final package the agent helped put together. You've got the low base salary, but it's balanced by that huge equity grant with standard vesting. And check out the performance bonus, a $50,000 cash kicker if they hit 1,000 premium subscriptions. This is a sharp, sophisticated offer that's designed for a very specific kind of ambitious leader. So after this whole journey that started with a kind of vague goal and a lot of uncertainty, what's the final output? Well, it's a process that took us from total chaos to absolute clarity. And here it is, the culmination of all 5 phases. A professional, comprehensive, and totally sound offer letter, drafted by the agent based on every input from the founder. It transformed a really complex, high-stress process into a clear, confident, and professional final step.
I mean, think about it. From defining KPIs to navigating insane budget constraints to structuring a competitive equity offer, this entire journey was guided by an AI co-pilot. It really makes you wonder, right? If AI can bring this level of strategic clarity to something as human and nuanced as hiring a CEO, what other core business function is next?